Stop the presses. The New York Mets have won a baseball game. The 12-game losing streak is no more. And this team showed us, yes, it is capable of winning a baseball game. And that one win is all it takes to get something going, to stop the schneid. And the reality is that this Mets team has a lot of good players on it. And it can be a good team. And I think the doom and gloom of the losing streak makes you believe that this is the worst team ever created, that David Stearns is a fraud, that Steve Cohen sold us a fake bag of goods for a casino. That's not the truth. This team is good. And if they can put it all together and stay healthy and show us something with their best hitter and Juan Soto back, they can turn this thing around. They can get it going. They can get a win streak going. But obviously over those 12 games, you're going to think the worst, and not one win isn't going to make you think the best either, but there has to be some kind of middle ground here, and now it takes the Mets showing us that we could get into that middle ground. It takes them winning a couple in a row. Like, go win today. Like, don't make this a one-and-done thing. Don't lose the series to the Twins. Take 2 out of 3. Then go take 2 out of 3 or sweep the Rockies, and then you got a streak. Then you get back closer to 500, and then you're talking about a team back in it. No one outside the Braves running away within the division. The rest of the division has not been good. The Mets losing streak mask that the Phillies have lost 8 in a row. Phillies have been playing terrible baseball. So the Mets win a couple, and they'll be above the Phillies, and, we could start cooking here. So good to have Juan Soto back. We'll talk about the Lindor injury in a second. Just brutal. I mean, you get Soto back and then lose Lindor. We don't know the extent of it as we record on Thursday morning. But, man, Soto's like having 2 guys back in the lineup, and that was huge to have him back. And obviously before the game, the big storyline was that he hasn't talked to teammates while he's gone. I mean, when they're home, he's there. When they're not, he doesn't. He's just not the kind of guy to have a group text and emojis with players. He's just not that kind of guy. So I think we know that about this team, and we know that about Soto, that Soto is not a leader of the team. He is the best player on the team, but he's not a leader of the team. He is who he is. And is it a big story? I think it got blown out of proportion. Is it a story in some sense? Yes. This Mets team is not the OMG Mets. They're not the tightest knit unit. But if they can come together, win games, and go win a championship, I don't care what their group text if it's existent or non-existent. That's all that matters. Right now, it's showing, hey, maybe it does matter because they're not winning many baseball games. So we'll see in about a month or two where the team is at and if that's that big of a deal. But obviously, with everything that's gone on and that story coming out in the midst of a losing streak, it's Soto's a cancer, this team hates each other, blame Lindor this, blame Lindor that, blame Mamdani this, blame Mamdani. It just, you start to hear this noise that's incredibly stupid, but it's noise. And, I don't think it's that big of a deal, and Will Sand wrote a story out, it's not that big of a deal. That's normal when Soto, they're not, sending group texts all the time and stuff like that. But he was happy. Clearly, they won. They broke the streak, and that's that. Another good piece. I mean, Luke Weaver was a dog out there, and I don't think it's just one outing. I think the Mets have to make the shift. Make Luke Weaver the closer. And I don't know if it's what he said after the game that had me and Met fans fired up, or I'm not the biggest guy, but I'm not afraid of nobody, and you could smell fear, and everything that he said I thought was really awesome. And he doesn't have many chances to speak to the crowd. I mean, there were like 12 people there, but they had him, when he interviewed with Steve Gelbs, that is out to the entire Citi Field crowd. He doesn't probably ever get that opportunity. So he took that opportunity, ran with it, and he had some awesome quotes. And obviously the great picture, the video of the flame, when the Mets win, they have flamethrowers, fire going center field. Pretty sick. And that behind Weaver as he's looking up was like a rap album cover. It was like a mixtape cover. But something about Luke Weaver, I don't know. He's got that moxie to him that, that's the kind of grit. Like what he said after the game is what you want in a Met. Like it made you immediately like Luke Weaver, despite maybe a couple bad outings earlier. I would give him a shot at closer. I mean, Devin Williams, I think it's time to, lessen his role a little bit. Obviously, he's going to pitch, but I don't want to see Devin Williams closing games right now. Maybe back at that point later in the year, but right now he needs to get his stuff, get going in some other role. But Devin Williams, that's going to be their problem. But Luke Weaver hopefully solves that. Another problem the Mets are going to have here after they win is Francisco Lindor rounded third and was hurt. Of course, on a night he has 2 hits, RBI. He's coming around to the plate lately. He is now hurt. It's a calf injury. It was calf tightness. He left the game. Remember, the calf strain is what sent Soto to the IL, and he's been out for the last couple of weeks. Well, now Francisco Lindor could end up on the IL. Let's hope he avoids it. He is a warrior, but the fact he came out of the game immediately tells you it's not something that's going to heal overnight. The Mets are probably, I could see them doing their classic, let's wait 2 to 3 days, which I hate. I think the move to do is put him on the IL. If he's only going to miss 10 days, great. But put him on the IL and get Ronnie Mauricio up here. Enough messing around, man, with Brett Baty. Enough is enough. Give Ronnie Mauricio an actual chance to play games consistently. Last year it was play Ronnie once a week or once every 2 weeks and then sit the rest of the week. And he never got consistent at-bats. Brett Baty has had a 5-year leash. Like I said yesterday, 5 years. Mark Viento's coming around, fine. He can play first or DH, but, let Ronnie cook. And you have a couple options. You can move Bo Bichette back to his natural position as short and play Ronnie at third. What I think the Mets would do is play Ronnie at short, which is one of his natural positions, and keep Bichette going at third. Bichette's done a good job at third. I don't think the Mets want to move him to a different position for 2 weeks just to move him back to third. I think that is something the Mets want to try and avoid doing. So my guess is they keep Bichette at third and just put Ronnie at shortstop. Ronnie's switch hitter, obviously not as good from the right side, but you can play him every day at shortstop because he is a switch hitter. He can hit from the right. Obviously, the bugaboo on him has been off-speed stuff and hitting that curveball, but Ronnie Mauricio's got 6 homers in AAA. He's looked good there. I think he deserves an everyday chance if Lindor is going to miss some time here. That seems to be the most logical move. We got to see with Soto. Soto DH last night. Do they put him in left field? Is it DH every other day in the first week or two? How are they going to do this? But ideally, Soto doesn't have to rest tonight, and he could play left field. That's going to help the Mets. Soto left. Center Robert. I'd like to see Melendez in right. I'd like to see them maybe, send Benj down here. But now with Lindor gone, they might keep Benj around to play right. Vientos first. Melendez DH. We'll see how they do it. I think Benj is probably going to stay and play right. Melendez is going to DH. Vientos is going to play first. But stop playing Brett Baty. Just, I would send him down. Brett Baty does have one more option. I think this is the time to use it with him. We'll see what they end up doing. Other reinforcements that make sense. Well, first off, Christian Scott's going to make his season debut tonight. Remember, Christian Scott came up on the 2024 Mets as one of the top prospects. Now he's going to get another chance. Christian Scott on the 2024 Mets had 9 starts at a 4.56 ERA, 47 and a third innings. So about a quality start. A 4.5 is 3 earned runs in 6 innings. So Scott was not bad. He wasn't great, but he wasn't terrible. At the end of 2024, he had Tommy John surgery, and now he is back. Looking forward now to see the 26-year-old, soon-to-be 27-year-old pitcher back out there for the Mets, and they could use a boost. With David Peterson now to the bullpen, they could really use Christian Scott performing well for this team to get going. A.J. Minter's up to AAA now in his rehab. I expect A.J. Minter back here in a week. I don't think you need a month plus of rehab for a relief pitcher. He's had a few weeks in the minors. He'll be in AAA. I got to figure maybe on the next road trip, maybe the end of this homestand, maybe after the homestand he's back. But we're very close to A.J. Minter, which is going to be a massive boost for this bullpen. Remember, A.J. Minter, that's another closer option as well. I could see the Mets considering, if Devin Williams continues to struggle, them going to Minter as closer. It makes their bullpen that much better. You're talking about Minter and Raley, Weaver, Williams, Braza. It's just a much more expanded bullpen with A.J. Minter in it. The other move you got to consider, and, if Vientos struggles again, I think they really consider. They probably won't do it yet. But we mentioned his name, and I think maybe it ends up coming closer to Memorial Day than Labor Day. What about Ryan Clifford? Ryan Clifford has played first. He's played outfield lately in AAA. He is another option if you wanted to put him in right field. So if you did send Benj down and you wanted to have Vientos still at first, you could have Clifford in the outfield or Clifford DH. I mean, anyone could DH. But, I think Ryan Clifford's bat and that pop could be something that this Mets lineup could use. I think he's had enough time in the minors. I'd like to see him up here. I would like to see the Mets give Ryan Clifford a shot. Let us know in the comments below what you think. Again, you're watching Mets Daily. Hit that thumbs up in this video. Click subscribe. At Jake Brown Live. Forgot to say all that. And at Mets Daily Show on Twitter. We've been doing live streams on TikTok. Go follow me there. I'm doing a super fan. We're starting a Discord. It'll be a Mets Daily / Jake Brown Live Discord. So stay tuned on my socials to that. If you want to be part of the Discord and chat with us, we're going to be setting that up. So appreciate your support, everybody. And I'll be in New York this weekend. Again, I'll be in a suite tomorrow night for the game. We'll be in a suite. So if you're going tomorrow, we'll see you at the stadium tomorrow. And it's good to get a win, guys. Let's keep this thing cooking. Let's go Mets. Maybe get Ryan Clifford up here. Let's see if Ronnie comes up. We'll find out later today about Lindor news. Hopefully he's all right. And hopefully we get a win streak with Christian Scott on the mound tonight. Thanks for watching Mets Daily. We'll talk to you tomorrow.